Transforming opinions. How do we transform opinions? Should we transform opinions? What's wrong with opinions? Opinions can be wonderful because they allow us to dialogue together, or opinions can be deeply divisive and we can end up in real struggle and conflict. And so if we go back through our history, we see, that many of the wars and difficult conflicts are simply because people can't agree together with each other. And, the great challenge then is to be able to not agree with someone else's opinion and to be okay with that. And that's what we really mean here by transforming opinion. It's not that you have to change your opinion, but it's you have to change your opinion of opinion itself. One needs to learn to hold one's opinions lightly. And one of the best ways to do this is to try and put yourself in someone else's shoes, to be empathic. And so for years, for a long time, the art of diplomacy is based on this. Is based upon really listening to another person's views and opinions, and reserving your own judgment and trying to really understand, well, why do they hold this opinion that I completely don't agree with, and that seems, to me wrong. Or kind of it maybe seems unprincipled, or it seems, whatever it seems, or it seems like it curtails their own freedom or the freedom of human spirit. How can someone hold an opinion that does that takes away our freedom? Or how can someone, that whenever you look at opinions, you'll see that it takes away something, because an opinion itself is a single pointed view. And it's not possible, other than having no opinion, to kind of open, to have like all opinions in one opinion. The very nature of opinion is it's a kind of, it takes a choice. I believe in this. I believe I should take a vaccine. I believe I shouldn't take a vaccine. That's a topical one. But the point is that if we can understand the other view, then it lessens our kind of need to defend our own opinion. And that's where, problems come in, and it's usually our issue with the opinions of others. That's really what this transformational process is about. And so how would it be if, you were able to accept all opinions as valid? If you were to look through, imagine you were God, or you were like the creator, and you created all these beings, and you said you are free to look, all these different lenses that the creator is looking through. And some of them are looking, through it with a different color lens on it, or a different color, different patina and a different style and at a different angle. And some of them are kind of, their views that are kind of tainted by suffering, by one's own suffering. And some of them are views that are kind of tainted by other things, or just kind of according to our culture and our conditioning, and we've kind of grown up with them, or we've rebelled against the opinions of our peers or our parents, or those kind of things. And those can be very strongly held views. So look at your own views and see how strongly you hold them. There's when you're doing this, there should be no sacred cow inside you. If, look really deeply at your opinions and your views. Take something that's pretty divisive in the world right now. I'm not going to say what that is, but you can take it and go, well, can I see it from the other side? Can I really see it? Can I really understand? Can I understand, like, even very bigoted views? Can I understand views that just take away from, human freedoms and things? Can I understand those? Because if you can understand them and where they come from, then you don't have to kind of defend your own so much. And then you're like free from the opinion game, and it means you can even continue to hold your opinion, and you can have an argument or a discussion without kind of getting aggressive or defensive, and you can actually be open and allow someone else to express their opinion. And this is a really powerful thing to do. It's like, if you can allow someone else to express their opinion without needing to express yours, but just to hear them, just take them in. That's so powerful. It's such a powerful thing to do. And then if they're interested in yours, allow them to ask you, yours. But if we are going through life kind of thrusting our opinion everywhere, that's where we cause problems. That's where we cause friction for ourselves. And it doesn't mean you can't share your opinion, but it means listen to see if the other person's even open to hearing your opinion. If they have some interest, and if they don't, then what's the point wasting your breath? Because that's where things become frustrating and division happens, because you're expecting someone else to kind of judge you in the way you're judging them. Like, well, I'm open enough to hear your opinion. Why can't you be open enough to hear mine? That's the nature of their opinion. That it doesn't see. It doesn't want to see. It can't see what you see. Not yet. So you role model what you want to see. And one of the things that we have to role model is having open opinions, a little bit of openness around our opinions, and being open to the fact that your opinion could even change at some point, and you might one day see things differently. You might have a dramatic experience that completely changes your view. You might live with a group of people who have completely different culture, and then your entire view of an opinion changes. Your opinions change. So that can always be the case. And because of those things, it means ideally we don't want to be holding too tightly to our own opinions and views, that we can, they're like, it's like if you look at a tree that doesn't bend in the wind, that's very kind of firmly rooted, and it could be strong, but if it doesn't bend, then at some point it grows to a certain size and then it just gets uprooted by a storm. Because it's too sort of, it's not bendy enough, it's not supple enough. So if you want to stay eternally young, then you need to keep supple in your opinions as well. And what tends to happen as we get older, especially, is that our opinions become more calcified, in our views. So if you can stay supple and bendy without losing your integrity and your view, because your view is beautiful. It's your view, and it can be heard, and it should be heard at times. And but be open, be open to others as well, even if they're calcified. Even if they are like that, because those trees in the wood also have a place. And then when they fall down and they crash, they provide shelter and food for all manner of creatures, and then there's the supple, bendy ones. And so my tip for you is just to stay supple as long as you can, and open, because when you open up, you'll realize that the same energy that takes a view, an opinion, actually at the highest consciousness can become omniscience, this energy of omniscience. Omniscience means that you see all views, you see through all eyes, and so it's in that sense, if you decide to hold an opinion, it's for your own purposes, it's for your own reasons, but you could literally take any opinion you wished, but you realize that you're taking that opinion even though you can see all others. And that's the final goal. That's our goal, is to be able to be that open, and that empathic and that loving and forgiving, so that we can see through other people's eyes. We can feel what it's like to be in another person's shoes. And then we can approach them in a respectful way, even if they themselves are not respectful. We can meet that non-love, that dogma, with openness, with love, with forgiveness. We can meet it with deep clarity, with a sword if necessary. But the sword will be clarity, and it will be wielded with clarity and respect. But at the same time, justice. Sometimes justice is also needed. So the game of opinion is a wonderful world to play in, but be playful in that world and look at your views and your opinions and see the places where they're trapping you. See the places where you've lost your suppleness. And I can tell you that every opinion of yours that isn't supple is reflected somewhere in your body. So something in your body starts to also calcify. So stay young, stay loose, stay free in your opinions, but choose the opinions you need when you need them. Like a hunter, choosing the arrows and the weapons that they need in order to go and do the thing that they do. So you choose the tools that you need, and have a view. It's good to have a view, but hold it lightly as you move through the world, and try and see through the eyes of others. So a simple little wisdom today.